Listen, you rat soup eating motherfucker, let's start the show.
This is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 255. I'm Chris.
I'm Steve.
Hopefully, if I did everything correctly here, let me put on both headphones for
Headphones?
a second. Headphones. There's a title for you. I just want to check and see. Because, you know, we it's a constant struggle. You know, I'm always a little bit loud. Now, of course, okay, there I am. All right. You say something.
Oh, we're testing again?
No,
live on the show?
We're not officially testing. I just was afraid that maybe I had... Because I made a little adjustment after I did the test. And I was like, did I turn myself down too much?
And the answer is no.
Probably not. Yeah. Is it because I don't think of myself as being egotistical or self-centered, but maybe that's maybe that's what it is.
Being egotistical and self-centered is not synonymous with loud, Chris.
Well, just meaning that I'm thinking about my own volume and not thinking about yours. Maybe that's what's happening. I'm just an inconsiderate motherfucker.
That means every podcast I've ever been on has been full of inconsiderate motherfuckers because I've always been low in the mix.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. It's just like, why did everyone want to murder me in college productions?
I don't know. Why did they want to murder you?
I have no idea, but I died in a bunch of different things.
That's weird. That's fair. Productions like plays?
No.
Oh.
Video.
Okay. Right. Yes, video. Because plays aren't real things.
No, I just was not a thespian.
You were not a theater person. You were a filmmaker. Or you were working with filmmakers.
Film and video. And there's a distinction between the two of them.
Okay.
Like if Professor Johnson ever listens to this, and that's one thing that has been drilled into my head, there's a difference between shooting something on film and shooting video.
Oh, well, that was drilled into my head with was it Boogie Nights where I first yeah, I think they talked about it on Boogie Nights. Yeah.
When you realized it.
No. I remember that. I'd certainly heard
right after you salivated over Marky Mark's peenie.
That's at the very end of the fucking movie.
Well,
so
I know, but like at around that time, I mean, you saw the movie in its entirety and you're like, wow, I never realized that film was film.
No, I'm saying I realized that, see, I'm looking at the waveforms and you are way louder than me, but what is it?
How is the waveform compared to what you're hearing in your microphone or in your headphones?
The waveforms are deceiving is what I think is happening.
Right.
Okay. So
that's probably why, like, I have maybe my register just comes up as a crazy wave, but it's not really as loud.
Steve comes up as a crazy wave. No, I'd certainly heard, you know, I did not go to film school. I didn't study communications. It was the one sort of area of storytelling I didn't get involved in, but I had heard that. What I'm saying is there was a plot point, I think, in Boogie Nights where all of a sudden the people shooting on video are coming in, and the auteurs of pornography that are represented by Mr. Burt Reynolds and the like, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. They're kind of like, oh God.
Well, yeah, when video became widely accessible, it just made more sense to shoot on video because, you know, why shoot on film and regulate it to just porno theaters, which is basically, or unless you had a projector at home, which some people did. But
now, were you with your professor? Were you there?
I mean, we didn't talk, like, this is not something we talked about in class.
Pornography?
No.
No.
This is just something I know.
No. So I was going to ask, you know, he made the distinction between film and video. Were you, I can't remember what year did you graduate college?
Like the fall of 2005.
Okay. So
mid-year, basically. I had a super senior year.
Were you yet to have conversations about sort of digital video versus analog video? Did he make that distinction too, or was it just film versus video?
That was around the time where shit like that was happening, but we were still putting things on tape, on magnetic tape.
Right. I wonder, what that conversation was like in schools. I certainly, from the outside, I never worked in the industry or whatever, but I followed entertainment. And I remember when Lucas was doing the prequels, and they were shooting on at least I think I don't know if Phantom Menace was shot on film, but I think at least the second two of those prequels were shot on video or something like that.
It's very apparent that those movies are shot on video, and in a time where video quality was, I think, it's always very sharp. At least if it's very high quality video.
Yeah. Same with digital photography. I've taken lots of Photoshop courses and tutorials at this point, and one of the sort of classic finishing touches to get your thing to look a little bit more like a photograph is to add noise at the end, right? And different amounts of noise depending on, is it going on Instagram? Is it going to be seen in a sort of big format? There is a sort of level of sharpness that you can't get rid of no matter how much Photoshop.
I mean, the city of Philadelphia will love this, but I think anything shot on video just needs a little bit more gritty.
Wait, what?
Gritty is the Flyers, like crazy, creepy mascot.
Okay, gotcha. It's.
I thought it was gritty.
Oh, maybe I don't know. That's
Now you're making me doubt my joke.
Oh, hockey. That's why. No, look it up. I mean, I'm saying that's why I don't know. I'm not going to go into my rant.
No, but like you can not care about hockey, but also be aware of things in pop culture.
I didn't know that I thought their mascot was a bird. Isn't their mascot a bird?
The Flyers?
Yeah.
There he is, Gritty. This fucking weird thing.
Oh, wow. It's a bird.
That is not a bird.
That's a bird. He's got a fucking beak. It's like Big Bird's slightly more rotund cousin.
No, it has a very Muppet quality to it, but it's not a bird.
The first picture you showed me made it look like he had a beak. Okay, that second picture, no. But
that is a beard.
There was a beak and the beard was around the beak, is what I was saying.
It's gritty.
It's a gritty, yeah. Well, this is kind of an unintentional segue, but
okay.
we had a topic.
You mean the thing that you ride around? You can take Segway tours of Boston.
You can also ride them at Clark's Train Bears. There's that's one of their attractions.
Do the bears ride Segways?
That would be more exciting. I don't know. Clark's Train Bears.
Do they also like do moonlighting at the mall? The Bears. they put a little
Paul Blart's uniform.
I don't understand. I do not understand what when did mall security when Segways first came out, oh my god, we need those fucking things.
I don't know.
Who was like, oh my god, this is perfect.
And
then it became a thing that that it was so funny we needed to put it in this fucking awesomely funny movie.
Has Kevin James ever made anything that was funny?
People liked The King of Queens, I think.
Oh, I am aware as somebody who is a fan of one of the stars of that show, stars of that program.
The Patton Oswalt?
Yeah, the Patton Oswalt. I think
we need to bring this.
I think he's just at Patton Oswalt. He's not like that Kevin Smith.
Yeah, well, I think we need to bring this up every time we bring up Patton Oswalt on The King of Queens. There was an episode of King of Queens where Patton, I believe, did not have any lines, but he was in the scene, and so every time you see him, he is motionless, making the same expression.
Yes.
So go find that on YouTube, and just your helpful reminder to watch that scene and just find out how wonderful Patton Oswalt is and how Kevin James and the rest of that show was.
Scene.
You could find it and put it in the.
I was thinking about it.
All right, cool. Help them out.
Yeah.
All right, so where's the segue?
So we were talking about I mentioned the prequels, and last week we had a topic at the end of the show that we punted because we didn't have time for it. Well,
at least we didn't smash a fucking helmet over its head.
Yes, at least we didn't do that.
Oh, Cleveland Browns. I always kind of have you as my dark horse, but Jesus fucking Christ. Don't do shit like that.
I was saying something to my dad the other day. I wonder, they'll never do it because obviously they make money with their current model, but I think it would be fantastic if on one level, it'd be fantastic if the NFL just went out of business and we stopped having all of these concussions and major injuries and all of that.
The only way that NFL could go out of business is if we stop watching, and that's never going to happen.
Right. So since that's not going to happen, I think what would be excellent is if they downsized. Because there are some teams that I swear the Browns are one of them.
Make like a JV league.
Just delete them. Like
No.
Disband the teams. Don't let them play anymore. There's no fucking point. They can't win. They have bad ownership. They have and just year after year after year, and it's just like,
how about we do
even the point?
I like it when whenever I'm in a pinball tournament and there's if you get knocked out, there's sometimes they'll do a side tournament of like a parade of losers, and the person that wins that tournament has the opportunity to be in the final.
Interesting. Okay, I could see that happening. I just think.
But with the way football works, it would that wouldn't. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, that would only be like in a playoff situation. So let's just say, the first two that are knocked out of the playoffs, they play against each other. Yeah, and that would only be good in a playoff situation, not in like a regular season kind of thing.
Yeah, you put half the teams in the league into the parade of losers. I like that. Right, the loser league. They all compete for one spot in the playoffs of the actual NFL, right? So the actual NFL is going to put together, let's say it's still like, what is it, 18? No. Is it 8 teams that make the playoffs?
And then you have another game played, like not necessarily simultaneously, but like you have another, like, I mean, I'm giving the NFL more opportunities to make money, so they should be fucking listening.
Yeah.
So just have like that side shit going on,
right?
And like not the Super Bowl, obviously, but like the after like I guess.
Do it on Thanksgiving Day. I don't know. They always have a game on Thanksgiving Day, and it's always with some of these teams that fucking suck.
No. Well, it's always the
Lions and the Bears, like
the Lions.
Oh, sorry, Lions and the Cowboys.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess have it like, I guess right before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like. Whatever 2 team, or I don't know, because like you need, because it can't be the Super Bowl. It can't be like the thing that happens. So it has to be before the Super Bowl that one or two of these teams has a chance to come back.
Right. But
I'm sure they could figure it out. They logistically, they got it figured out.
The 2 best teams of the loser league play each other the week before the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl is the week before the Super Bowl. So the two best teams of the terrible league play each other for the right to go to the Pro Bowl, which nobody watches and nobody cares about, and they still end up getting their asses handed to them by the All-Stars of the other league.
Or we just have it just be that it has nothing to do with the winners. It's just like you get something. You get a draft pick if you win the loser league or something like that.
Right. And then you don't know what to do with it.
And you still do, you get an extra draft pick in addition to the multitude of ones that you already get.
Yeah, anyway. My dad puts all of us in an eliminator pool, and I was the last person standing from our family, and I lost along with 50-something other people last week on a combination of 2 games. And on one hand, I was sick of kind of having the pressure of being the one that had to pick a winning team every week. Once it was just me, because of course my dad, wanted to consult me and give me all sorts of tips and whatever. And there's part of me that just wanted to say, Dad, you pick it. And another part of me that was like, well, that would be more disappointing for him. He wants to, he wants to coach me and. So and you're
like, Dad, I don't actually want to talk ever.
No, that's not. Anyway, so how many people do you think we lost there with the football conversation?
I don't think we lost that many, and I think I gave the NFL an amazing idea for them to make even more fucking multitudes of bucks that aren't taxed.
We should charge them a consulting fee.
Yeah, I mean, if they end up doing it, we're gonna have to refer to this podcast on the date that it was posted and everything, and how everyone listens to it.
Yep.
Like everybody who's anybody, or anybody who's everybody.
Anybody who's everybody.
That's the title.
So anyway, the thing that I was going to talk about last week.
Wow, we still haven't even gotten to it?
No.
Wow.
I
thought it was football.
How did we get onto the NFL?
You brought it up.
Somehow we got horribly off topic.
Mm-hmm.
So Stephanie and I and the kids we're going to Disney World right after Christmas, and of course one of their new attractions is the Star Wars land. It's called Galaxy's Edge, and so of course Stephanie and I have seen.
I'm sure I made a masturbating to the point of completion, but then not finishing at Star Wars land.
I'm sure you did it. Would you like to do it again?
No, I just did. Kind of.
So we're going right after the holidays, or at part of the holidays. And so Stephanie and I have seen all the Star Wars films numerous times. I've seen the newer ones more often than she has. Just sort of...
Every time I go over during the holidays, like to your place, that Star Wars seems to be on. Oh. Well, like on the TV and with no one watching it.
It's
like the kids are on their phones or iPads or whatever, not watching it.
But now...
And then your family is like in the room, like chatting with each other, not watching it.
Well, it's one of those things that's always on TV. And my parents, like I think you've talked about with your dad in the past, are still TV watchers. And like, even if we own the movie,
which you do, right?
Yes. They're still liable to just leave on whatever's on TV.
So you can watch all the lovely commercials on FX or wherever the hell it's playing.
Well, now it's not playing anywhere except Disney Plus, which I want to get to maybe eventually as a sort of
I mean, life is like a hurricane.
Wait, what?
That is the beginning of DuckTales, which we talked about last week.
Oh, yes. I was thinking of Rock You Like a Hurricane by the Scorpions, and I was like, no, that's not what it is.
I always forget that the Scorpions are not from the U.S., and so when you listen to like a Scorpions song, you're like, it's like somebody knows English but doesn't.
So we're going to Disney World. We're going to Galaxy's Edge, and we wanted the kids to see the Star Wars films, and of course, this brings up the debate about which order you watch them in. Now,
you watch 4, 5, and 6, and then stop.
Okay, that's not what we're going to do.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So, of course, Stephanie likes the movies. Maybe even loves the movie. She really enjoys the movie. I wouldn't say loves. She really enjoys the movies, but she did not have a strong opinion. And so I sat down and talked to her, and she certainly does not have the internet's opinion about the prequels.
Well, I mean, it always comes back to, I think the Red Letter Media review of Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
and. Like the thing that people were saying is it's like, oh, it's got Jar Jar, it's meant for kids, so kids will like it.
Yep.
But the problem with that movie is there's a lot of that movie that is just boring. Like here we are at the Senate.
Well,
talking about kids aren't watching fucking C-SPAN.
I am here to tell you. Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Yes, there's a very valid point. So Steph and I had a conversation about it, and of course, the way that we experienced it, we saw 4, 5, and 6. There's of course the big revelation in not that one.
Oh
well, no, I guess that's kind of that one. Yeah, I mean, when Luke saying that, not.
That's not true.
That's impossible. We haven't gotten there yet, which kind of maybe Anyway, so we went back and forth. I'm like, well, so the way we saw it is 4, 5, 6, and then we saw 1, 2, 3, and then we could watch it in release order, and then we said, well, we could also watch it in. As a friend of mine had recently done, watch all of them in chronological order. And of course, then I did a special talk this week at a genre fiction class, and one of the students, I was sharing this anecdote. He said, well, of course you've got the machete order. And I was like, yes, you have the machete order, which if people
Danny Trejo?
If people don't know, the machete order, according to the internet, is you watch 4, 5, 2, 3, 6.
What?
That's the machete order. You don't watch The Phantom Menace at all.
Because it kind of is a garbage. But the 2 and 3 have a lot of problems too.
Yes.
I mean, and by 2, I mean as well.
Not
the number 2.
Right. So
they have a lot of problems. The number 2.
Yeah. But what we decided on was we were going to do them in chronological order, and it was for me, it was also kind of an experiment, because I know that line from the Red Letter Media, which I think I also heard plenty of other.
What are these guys smoking? Cigarettes?
The line about it being meant for kids.
Yeah.
And well, sir, that was around before then, but they make the excellent point that kids don't sit around and watch C-SPAN. My kids absolutely love the now keep in mind, before you make fun, before anybody writes to hot@horriblyofftopic.com to make fun,
or hot@clarkwoods.com,
before anybody makes fun, my kids are 13 and 9, so if you're gonna make fun, like, not gentle fun, but like, you can make fun in a way that is appropriate.
People are not going to make fun of your children, Chris. Well, and if they do, we don't have to read it on the fucking show.
All right. So, well, I don't know. Maybe you want to make...
I'm not going to, put your kids through ridicule from, one of our idiot fans.
Okay. So...
I'm only saying that this person, this non-existent person is an idiot if they're actually insulting your children.
Right. Okay.
So, continue.
So, they absolutely... adored the first 3 movies, and they were
what? Holy shit! What's wrong with
they were like heartbroken to the point of having. I think Kaylee had a nightmare about. She was just so upset about
the way that the last, like, when he got his legs chopped off on the lava planet. No,
that was disturbing to them, but they were upset about him. Turning on Padme, like that was traumatic for the two of them.
I think it's jarring because it's hard for you as a viewer of that film to get your head around him doing that.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think, like, they're justifiably upset, and it's probably, on one hand, because it is upsetting, and on the other, it's because it really comes out of left field.
I mean, there's all the problems that we can identify with it because we've got more experience with story. Like, we can look at it and, these are the problems, but it was just definitely interesting to see them react in the way. And I thought, well, it's going to be a completely diminished experience because for me, the reveal, I am your father in Empire Strikes Back.
Spoiler alert.
Well, I didn't say whose father. I just said
Darth Vader's Luke Skywalker's father.
Oh, motherfucker!
Are you gonna you should bleep it. We're recording early enough.
So that for me, that was always, I was like, am I willing to make that trade-off? Because I remember very well a reaction video of a little kid who was watching Empire and obviously had not watched the prequels because his reaction
and I thought they smelled bad.
On the outside.
On the outside. You need a beat there, Chris.
Oh, I'm sorry. Like I said, we are now at, so we watched 1, 2, 3. Then we watched
A New Hope?
Nope.
Or no,
we watched Solo, And then we watched.
Oh, look at that fucking blue jay.
Oh, where?
He's on top of the roof of the shed.
Oh, I'd have to get up, and I'm afraid I'll knock something over.
All right, well, never mind. He's right in the middle of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, Solo.
I didn't see Solo. Becky did. She watched that on the plane on the way back from our honeymoon.
Yeah,
but she said she enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's unjustly maligned because it didn't do well at the box office.
Maybe I'll watch it on Disney Plus if we decide to get Disney Plus.
Well, okay,
because it's not on.
It's actually not on Disney Plus.
It's not.
Yet. I think it must.
Is it stuck on I think HBO? I think
it's got to be stuck on something. There are.
Is that why the Brave Little Toaster isn't on there? But the 2 sequels to the Brave Little Toaster are.
That I don't know. So 1, 2, 3 Solo, then Rogue One, and then. Am I missing anything? No. And then we watched... So we watched Rogue One, took a very brief break right into A New Hope, which my friend Todd had done recently. And that had been sort of my goal for... We kind of did the first 4 of them last weekend. And then they wanted to get to A New Hope because Melody desperately wanted to see Leia. Like, she's just like, when are Luke and Leia going to show?
Yeah.
So even though she hadn't, maybe if she had seen the movie, she had no recollection. She knew Luke and Leia. That's what she was waiting for.
Well, I mean, those were the babies from the end of movie 3,
right? But she, even in episode 2, so I say they enjoyed them, but they are well enough aware. They've seen the more recent ones, so they know it's all heading towards Luke and Leia. Right, and they
want to get to the fireworks factory.
Yes. Anyway, so we watched those. We watched Rogue One, Brief Break, and A New Hope last night. And what I'll say, going back to the thing about the choke of Padme, is I was not
choke of Bo. That's a joke for people that like Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Your brother probably doesn't like it anymore.
No. So you've seen Rogue One?
Yes.
Yeah. So when in the one Vader, the first Vader scene, when he chokes Krennic, that was actually that was triggering for Kaylee because she was so traumatized by him doing that to Padme, she didn't want to watch that. By the time we get to him choking somebody, they raised a really good question in A New Hope, which was, why...
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
No, why is he holding somebody up by the neck instead of just force choking him?
Because they didn't have a lore yet.
Yeah, I didn't get into that. It passed, but it was a really good question. I sort of filed it away. The most interesting thing about watching A New Hope last night, I don't know if you've seen any of the videos about this, is that this was interesting about Rogue One as well. The versions that are on Disney Plus are new, and not dramatically new, but Rogue One, they have obviously re-rendered Tarkin. And I was blown away by how much better Tarkin looks in the version on Disney. I'm not saying it's perfect, but he looks way better
than the film version,
than the original version. And I don't know if they had time to tweak it between theatrical and the DVD Blu-ray, but it definitely feels like they've tweaked it since then. But the controversial one, because of course, is there is a new version of the Greedo scene in A New Hope.
What the fucking... I saw the clip on Twitter and I was just like, what? What does he say? Oh yeah, McClunky.
McClunky.
Why the fuck does he say McClunky?
Now, did you actually hear him say it, or did you
I there was subtitles on the clip that I watched on YouTube, and I don't know if they were not on YouTube, on Twitter. I don't know if it was them whatever watching.
So that is the close. That's what he says, but his inflection on it is...
But the subtitle said McClunky. It didn't translate what Greedo was saying.
As I recall, that in the actual video, there is no... Because it's meant to be a curse. And somebody looked it up. I don't know if oh god,
it
what is Greedo's...
fucking snowing out.
What is... Fuck you. God fucking...
Dude, are you kidding? Like, it's nice, like... It's barely a flurry. Why it's not like you're gonna have to go fucking home and shovel.
I know. What's Greedo's species? Do you remember?
I don't know.
Anyway, so
McClunky.
Or maybe it's just Hadith. I think he's speaking Hadith. At any rate, it's meant to be a swear. Somebody looked it up, and it had been used once before.
Who said it?
I don't remember. But
was it? What was the fucking Max Rebo? Was he like, you didn't pay me, you goddamn McClunky?
Could have been, but yeah. So
have you seen the clip of I think somebody that was interviewing Harrison Ford? This was like probably before the new movie came out, or episode 7, Force Awakens.
Force Awakens, yep.
Yeah, probably before that came out, and the dude was like, "So who shot first, Han or Greedo?" And he goes, "I don't care."
I wasn't sure. I didn't see that, and I wasn't sure if his response would be, "I don't care," or "Who the fuck is Greedo?" Which I think would have been equally as good, even if he does remember who Greedo is. I think that would have been the funnier response. Who the fuck is Greedo? But yeah, yeah. So
bitch, are you for real?
So it doesn't sound as clunky.
McClunky.
McClunky doesn't sound as McClunky as it looks, but that's one of the like problems with seeing that on the internet before actually watching it. And so I kind of like kept it to myself because I wanted to laugh, and kind of checked out my kids and my wife's reaction because they don't pay attention to the fucking internet, and I wish I could be them. And they... Nothing.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that your kids don't follow the same people that would post that, because the same people that would post that are also posting like, weird fucking terrible things, and probably things that are less than favorable for children. And I hope to hell that your kids don't have Twitter.
They do not. No, my Kaylee is on, and I keep wanting to...
Instagram?
Not Instagram. She's on the one that the kids are on, TikTok. And I'm not 100% sure that I like her being on there, but
it's just the point, Chinese that have like that's their way of infiltrating.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because TikTok is a Chinese company.
Oh, is it? Fuck. I also checked out on the Disney Plus The Mandalorian. I episode 1. Obviously, you have not, because
I have not. Yeah. Well, we possibly have access, but we have not taken advantage of it.
Right. They do have they're advertising a plan. This wouldn't do any good for you guys because you're not big sports watchers.
Oh, the Hulu, ESPN,
and Disney Plus. And
but like, what do you just update your Hulu?
I don't know. That's what I wasn't sure of. So you get because I got as far as the fine print, and I was like, fuck no, because it is the ad-supported Hulu. Probably you have ads every once in a while, right? Yeah, so it's the ad-supported Hulu and Disney Plus and ESPN. And I was like, no. If you can give me an upgraded version that's the no ads Hulu, which nobody ever can. Because the bundle, for whatever reason, when they do these bundles, is always because I think there was one for Spotify too, is always the ad-supported Hulu.
You know what?
But yeah, I don't know what you do to get it.
I was watching. Speaking of Red Letter Media, the most, I think it was the most recent half in the bag that they were talking. They were talking about Netflix having the 1.5 like button. Did you hear that?
Oh, okay.
And directors being upset about it, and rightfully so, because people watching. It's one thing if you're watching I mean, when I was rewatching Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
And this was fucking years ago. I was watching it on Hulu.
Yeah.
And I watched it at like, slightly faster pace, and I I made sure I was watching the dub and not the sub, just to make, because I want to be able to hear what they're saying as opposed to having to read twice as fast.
Even faster.
So I did that, and that's the kind of thing that would be perfect for. But in that circumstance, I'm for it. But because a lot of anime is super dragged out, and I mean, the most recent season of One Piece has been good, and the pacing is slow because it's television anime, but the way they've been, the directors have been making decisions about shots and in building tension and stuff like that has been better for the most part. There are some outliers that are just complete fucking garbage, like before, but for the most part, the last, I think at least 10 or so, maybe even more than that, episodes have been pretty good.
Right.
But yeah, that's the kind of thing that, I'm completely for. If you want to power through a dubbed anime, then that's the perfect opportunity to use something like that.
Right.
But for a film that is trying to encapsulate art in a certain way, it's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah, not meant to be. I did not even know that was there. I know
it's not. That it's something they're thinking about.
Oh, they're thinking about. I mean, podcast apps, it's a big thing.
I mean, I used to do it, but then I stopped. And even though I'm catching up now that I have my new headphones, but I'm still I'm only at the end of August, and I've made it through most of August in the last couple of weeks. So it was the end of July, so I made it about a month in a couple of weeks. So I'm making ground.
When I would use it, I wouldn't use double speed or 1.5. I would only use the feature in Overcast, which I think has been ported to all of the other apps at this point, which strict silences. So it would take what it perceived to be a silence and shorten it.
All right, so let's just try this out. See, it's fine to have a little bit of dead air.
Yes.
On your podcast, because
it didn't strip
people know that the show is still going to be happening. They're not going to change channels.
Right. No, it never stripped them out entirely. It would. I don't know what the math was, but it would look for where the silence was, strip a little bit off the beginning, a little bit off the end, and still leave it there. So I got used to it, and I never noticed, except it was bad with music. So if you had a show like ours, when he first introduced the feature, actually I think by the time we were doing it, he had polished it. But other shows that I listened to, if they had music, the feature was not that great with the music because it would just mess up the music. And
so in the same conversation that they were having about this Netflix thing, they also mentioned that on regular TV,
right?
I think it's probably things on TBS or whatever, those particular stations, sped up shows by less than that. So pretty insignificant amount, but it just basically totals up to having an extra minute,
right? So
they could put 2 more ads on.
That's interesting.
So without having to cut any content.
Of course, everyone knows that I'm a friends person as opposed to a
friend's a friend who knows what being a friend is. Talking with a friend. Friends in life are special. Do you want me as your special friend? 'Cause you're the friend that I've been searching for.
I did say before the show we needed more singing.
Yes. And I just sang Friends by Ween.
I was thinking of Friends, the television program. Back before
that should have been the theme, even though it was written a good maybe 10 years after the show was over.
They had I don't know these were so uncommon, I'm sure you may not even know what I'm talking about. They had video CDs were a thing. I
remember having this. I think I don't know if it was your brother or somebody else. I think it might have been Bill.
Yeah,
I don't know, Bill or your brother. Let's just assume for argument's sake, it was Bill.
Yeah,
but he had this Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs CD-ROM porno. Yeah.
Not quite. So this was in the, I don't know where they were popular, maybe in Asia or whatever, but it was between VHS and DVD. There was a thing called the VCD, and this was before really any show had come out with the sort of big boxed set. We bought like the first season of Friends on one of these VCD sets, and I remember popping it in and feeling like the pacing was just off just a touch, and I couldn't figure it out.
You're like,
and I wonder if it was that. I wonder if it was a dub from somewhere where they were doing exactly that, because everything felt just the slightest bit too fast, and I could never figure it out. That's interesting.
I want a VCD.
That sounds bad. I don't think you do want a VCD.
All right. Well, definitely. Who knows?
So anyway, enough about Star Wars. You mentioned two things before the show that we that we haven't gotten to, and one of them I had no idea. Actually, both of them I have no idea what you're talking about. So I would love to hear about. Let's
talk about Rudy Ray Moore first.
Okay. So Rudy Ray Moore, you said it's a biopic.
Rudy Ray Moore was Dolomite. Are you familiar with that film series?
No.
So it was a series of blaxploitation films.
Okay.
But like there was already an established it was already an established genre. So like movies like Shaft and like things like that were like, that was the black cinema at the time. Mm-hmm. But then like Rudy Ray Moore, who was basically, he wanted to do the same, but he wanted to do like comedy style. And so like he basically broke so many molds.
Yeah.
Because like he was doing comedy, and then he was doing like, obviously Lenny Bruce came before, but like he broke in with like this dirty record that no one wanted. Mm-hmm. Because like, he was listening to, because he worked at a record store, and he was like listening to other comedy records, and it's like, oh, they're just getting around saying the things, and he's like, I'm just going to say the things.
Just say the thing. Okay. Yep.
So, he had that, broke through that way, and then he wanted to make a film like that was like a Shaft, only it was funny. And then basically gave away the whole fucking movie. Well, but it's worth watching because it's Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, I was going to say, so as you're describing it, I was thinking to myself, because you had mentioned to me, it stars Eddie Murphy, and I'm like, well, that sounds very much like a passion project for Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
That must have been a guy how much before Eddie Murphy would he have been? He
would have probably been maybe around the same time as Eddie was breaking in.
Okay, so it's still somebody who might have inspired him.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, like Eddie Murphy's great in it. I think almost like everybody that's in it is does a good job, but in particular, like I'd say watch it. I think My Name Is Dolomite it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Watch this fucking movie. Wesley Snipes he has a pretty
nice.
It's not a huge role, but it's not a minor role. He just is like every fucking line he says like cracked me the fuck up. He was just great.
I like Wesley. I'm allowed to like Wesley Snipes, right?
Yeah, I mean,
he didn't ever do anything terrible, right?
The thing that he did terrible was not pay his taxes, and he went to jail for it.
All right. So he really didn't do anything. I mean, like I get it, or something. I don't know. Okay, so I remembered he did something. I remember
the thing that he did was taxes. Okay. There might be something else. I'm not sure, but from what I'm aware, it wasn't. It wasn't,
It wasn't anything like...
Yeah.
So, am I remembering correctly that Wesley Snipes was the star of Blade?
Yes.
Okay. So, they announced at the, I don't know if it was the Disney thing or Comic-Con, they're going to do their event... I don't know if it's going to be on Disney Plus or if it's going to be a movie. They're going to make a new Blade, and it's going to be... gosh, I can't pronounce his name. Masher something Ali. There's like a whole.
I don't know the fella, so I can't help you.
He was on.
I might know him, but
I almost said The West Wing. No, he was on House of Cards. Where I know him from, but he's been in a bunch of other things. But what I remember when I saw him do it, I was just like, I hope they find some way to like bring in Wesley Snipes. Like maybe like multiverse thing or whatever.
I think like as much as people pan like Stallone movies, like Demolition Man is
That's one of fucking great movie.
Like it is just
or it's at least a fun movie. I don't know if it's.
I think it's great. Like it's like I don't know like the Judge Dredd maybe not so much, but Demolition Man. Yeah. One of the rare circumstances where it was a great movie and a great pinball machine. Usually the great pinball machines were for bad movies, like Congo.
That's interesting. Are there other ones like that?
I don't know. I don't have to go through a list or anything.
No. I was just trying to mask my typing.
Too late.
Too late. So Wesley Snipes and Eddie Murphy. I'm thinking of Arsenio was in Coming to America with Eddie.
But Wesley Snipes, just like him in fucking Demolition Man, just like he was like mid to late 90s, like great either action star or action villain. Like he was perfect for both, and like it worked for both. And like, you know, it was a bummer that he had to go away. Like kind of at his like prime.
That's what I remember. Yeah, it was like he was everywhere, and then suddenly. He was
and I'm glad that he's kind of like sneaking his way back into things, and that's cool.
It's I mean, I wish more people got that second chance, especially if it's not something heinous that they like. You know, I don't think Kevin Spacey needs a second chance, but
there was a point, and like I remember when we first talked about it, that I thought that Louis C.K. needed a second chance, but now I'm like, fuck him. He used up all the goodwill that I had for him,
right?
And I'm like, whatever, dude. Like, it could just go away.
Yeah.
I wanted him to fucking turn it around, but he just didn't.
I know you did.
We had a very extensive conversation. I'm like, fuck you then. Like, if you don't want to even try, you are shitty. You are a shithead. You need to fucking work harder to get back, and he didn't, and so fuck him.
Yeah. You mentioned another thing beyond Rudy Ray Moore. You mentioned a Pokemon.
Yes.
And it was not Pokemon Go. It was not Pokemon.
Just always there.
It's always there.
Since the summer of 2016.
Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield, yeah.
Sword and Shield.
I have Sword because I have a dick. And I like everybody, like I think that's the way things have been going, because like everybody that I see online playing it are mostly dudes, and most of those dudes have Sword.
So is it like Pikachu with a sword?
No.
Okay.
But there's like...
I mean, I'm showing how little I know about Pokemon.
There's legendary Pokemon in every single Pokemon game.
Right.
And the two Pokemon that are legendary in this one is like a sword puppy, and the other is like a bearded shield puppy.
Okay.
So, like, I think maybe that might be like, I want the doggo with the sword.
Okay.
It might have been a lot of the rationale of a lot of the people
why they had the sword,
and I think that might have it's definitely not I have a penis. I just wanted to be able to catch the Pokemon with the fucking sword, the dog with the sword in his mouth.
The dog. So wait, oh my gosh, well that means it's an animal, or
all Pokemon are animals.
But catching other animals?
No, you catch them.
Okay, and you are not the dog.
No, you are a person.
Okay. That's where I was getting confused. I all of a sudden thought you were like a humanoid, like anthropomorphic dog with a sword, and you were going out and catching Pokemon.
Them all. Actually, there's a big controversy.
Oh, is there?
That the National Pokedex, so basically each new Pokemon game is typically in a different region of the, I'm putting air quotes, world.
Okay.
The most recent one was the Alolan region, which was based on Hawaii.
Okay.
And then the newest one that just came out, Sword and Shield, is based on like Great Britain, and it's the Galar region.
Okay.
So it's just like, I mean, the one prior to the X and Y, where I forget what the heck the region was called, but it was based in France. And then I don't know. I never played Black and White or Diamond and Pearl. Diamond and Pearl. I didn't play either of those. But yeah, I don't know what regions those were in. But like the first two, like Pokemon Red and Blue, were in Japan, and then Gold and Silver were in another part of Japan.
Okay. Well, so educate me. Since the only Pokemon game I have ever played is Pokemon Go, what do you... Are you just in a typical Pokemon game, or in this one specifically, what are you doing?
All right, so like the story for every Pokemon game starts about the same. Is like you have just moved to a new town or something like that, or you've lived in this town for a while or whatever, and then your mom wakes you up and it's like, today's the day you become a Pokemon trainer. Oh, okay. It's your X birthday, so now you can go out into the world and catch Pokemon, like whatever. So then you do that, and then you like at some point meet up with your rival.
Okay.
And then you go to the local Pokemon scientist's house, and he gives you a starter Pokemon.
Okay.
And your rival will pick after you, and often pick, not in this case actually, the new one, he picks the one with the type that's weak against your type. But you, like in the previous iterations, he would pick the Pokemon that is strong against your type.
Oh, okay, got it.
So like it's always a fire, water, or grass type Pokemon right out of the gate. I picked the fire Pokemon, the Scorbunny, because I wanted the bun.
Right. Aw.
Because I can't eat buns anymore, so I need to have one as my Pokemon.
All right. Okay. I get it. And then, like, is there a boss at the end, or are you just competing
so
with your rival?
You have to go. You and your rival are basically traveling a similar path, and you will encounter each other. Like in the first one, you encounter each other a little bit less frequently because you're traveling the same way, but you're not like talking a lot. Like this new one, you're talking a lot along the way, and every once in a while he'll be like, let's fight, and then you kick his ass and he's like, wow, you're really good. Besides that, you have to go to different Pokemon gyms, typically 8 of them, and beat the gym leaders, and then they'll give you a gym badge, and once you get all 8, you can go up against the Elite Four. You beat the Elite Four, then you beat the champion, and then you're the champion of all Pokemon in that region.
And are you sort of using one Pokemon each round? Like, is it a fighting game at that point?
Well, you fight like...
I know it sounds stupid, but I've just never...
You fight in like an RPG style, like a turn-based RPG.
Oh, okay. Got it. And do you have... So if one of them goes down, do you then like...
You can have 6 on your person at a time, and then you have like a like Pokemon storage system that you can put them in.
Okay, so
like on your computer.
If you were a Rob Liefeld character in the 90s, you might be able to have more Pokemon because you'd have all those pouches. No, that was a dated reference.
Sure. But yeah, a lot of people are upset that the newer region doesn't have access to all the past Pokemon. And so like there was a thing when the 3DS games came out, like so when X and Y came out, that they made a thing called Pokemon Bank. So you could take your Pokemon from any iteration that I think you could get them off. Like there was a way to get every Pokemon from, I think, Ruby and Sapphire from that point to X and Y.
Got it. So
there was a route you could take. Well, like you could get the things off the Game Boy Advance cards.
Right. So pretty much everything you'd done over the last X number of years, you could still use.
So like I think from like maybe 2002, 2003 until the most recent one, there was some Pokemon that weren't in there, but you could still get most of them. For some reason, Pidgeys were not in the Alolan region. So I made the mistake of putting them into their like when from Pokemon Bank into the thing, and then I'm like, where did they go? They just disappears because they don't exist. So like all the Pokemon that I had from another game disappeared, and I was like, what the fuck? But now they're not even like basically allowing that. So there's people that are a little salty that have been doing this progressively over the last X amount of years. My thought is, I understand, but I think what they're trying to do is get people to actually play the game without like just putting all these new Pokemon in, and there will be an option, like maybe because like the way software is nowadays, like you're not just buying a game on a cart, and then. I mean, it is on a cart, but it's once it's on like your Switch or your PlayStation or
you get an online
component you can
you can
download content, and then like there can be a patch to the game, so they can update it, so they can include access to. I think there's like a bringing Pokemon Bank to the Switch or something like that, and do that in the future and get like all like I think 890 Pokemon that there are now.
My God. I remember my cousins played. It was after things started being, as we've talked about before.
Well, you are definitely a little bit too old to have gotten into it. I am, but I did anyways.
Yeah,
because like it came out.
If you were into video games, I feel like I don't know. Yeah, you guys might have been older than who I thought. Like my not that much younger than you cousins. Like I really young. They were into it, but I don't think you guys were. Anyway,
we had finished high school when it came out.
Yeah. Okay.
It came out in '98 in the States. And we were a year out of high school.
Well, I think you're still allowed to be young at heart.
Yes, and I'm still fucking playing the game, and I'm 40. So
well, that there's nothing that says you got to stop having fun at 40. Is there? I hope not.
Well, I haven't succeeded. Actually, I've been an abject failure at not having fun at 40 then, because I have had fun.
I was going to say, now that I think about it, it doesn't really matter for me because I don't know how to have fun.
No, you don't.
I think maybe I was hoping.
Well, you can eat this candy bar on the way home.
I know. I've been looking at it the entire time.
Get all the crumbs on your crotch, and
oh my gosh, that's just where they belong, right on my junk.
So if you had a dog, they'd be like. Yeah, that'd be bad. That is chocolate. Do not feed that to dogs.
Yeah, no doggos don't like the chocolate.
Well, they like swords.
I mean,
they like swords though.
I mean, like a dog with a sword. What's wrong with that? Nothing wrong with a dog with a sword.
I mean, there could be a lot of injury to both the dog and the person that's near the dog.
Is there anything more wrong with a dog with a sword than a turtle with nunchucks? I'm just
We just watched the news or a couple episodes of the new season of The Toys That Made Us on Netflix. We're giving Netflix a bunch of plugs today because of Disney Plus. I think they need the help right now.
Yeah,
and Ninja Turtles was the new episode.
Oh, okay.
And I keep on remembering that or knowing this every time someone tells me. But like Eastman and Laird, the guys that created the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, were from New England.
They were.
I think Maine and New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were big time around these parts.
And where your old stomping grounds, like they actually had a studio in Dover, New Hampshire, so like pretty close to Portsmouth, where you have done some shit.
I did a lot of shit there for a lot of years, a lot of miles on the tires of the car and my own metaphorical tires. I spent in going up there.
Yeah, I don't like metaphorical tires.
Oh, Steve doesn't like metaphor. I gotta write that down.
That makes me metaphorically tired.
Oh gosh, I wish we had like a minute and a half. That would be a
good stopping point. Well, we could plug the.
Yeah, you can send us an email. hot@clarkwoods.com or hot@horriblyofftopic.com.
Yeah, we have Twitters. We haven't plugged those in a while. Let's do that. Let's eat up some time.
I am at ECC Books.
Which is different since the last time.
I don't know if I've ever said that out loud.
Yeah, you're ECC Books, and I'm Tuesday is Loser. That's Tuesday IS Loser, all one word.
Yeah, and you basically retweet me. I occasionally do more than tweet the show.
Yeah,
but, not much more.
Yeah, if you're already listening to this, then you're going to see a tweet for the thing that you're already aware of.
Right. Yeah.
From me, at least.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to. I'm taking a bunch of authory type courses and things, and so I'm trying to not re-educate myself on social media, but yeah, kind of like just rethink old habits with some things. Like I took a cover design course and rethought a lot of my old Photoshop hacky putting book covers together habits, and I just came up with a couple of good ones. I'm pretty happy. So,
bitch, are you for real?